All right, all right, all right. What's up, friends, and welcome into another episode of Trust the Tape. Let's see, this one says my name is Jeff, I think.
My name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff, and his name is Bryan Broaddus, former Cowboy scout, man with the Super Bowl ring, by the way.
Hey, Bri.
Hey, Bri.
Jeffrey, good morning.
So I did a post-game show after the Cowboys and Ravens played, and I can tell you, as a man who has a live chat going during post-game shows, nobody was happy. I can tell you that. And now, as we work our way through tape of said game to figure out what is worth taking from this game, because losing does not matter. I want to tell you that right now. Losing does not matter. Shoddy's body language and word language seeming like a beaten man, that matters to me a little bit. But the ultimate result does not matter, but we will talk about a bunch of the players and what they showed us in that game, the guys that are going to matter for this football team. So that's what we're going to do today, Bryan. Does that sound like a plan?
Sound like a plan to me, sir.
I would like you to start with, and I have my show at 3:00 today, the DLS Cowboys podcast, and I got going about an hour ago. I'm one drive into this game on tape. I have not seen the offense take the ball yet. I've watched them stop the Ravens one time. So all I have is Tyler Booker, Cowboys first-round pick, live viewing. And I will tell you that live viewing, I said to myself, looks good. Yeah. You finally got to look at him against another team, and your first-round pick, your right guard, looks good. What did you see from him?
Yeah, no, I do. Played well into the third quarter, too.
Well, that's because they wanted to play 20, 25 plays. When you can't get first downs, it takes a long time to get to 20, 25 plays.
It takes a long time when you have to do that. But, overall, though, I think there were things that were that he learned along the way. I think that the Ravens did some things kind of with the twist fronts and things, and him having to pass some stunts off and stuff, I thought were good things. The long pass that they were able to complete down the field to Mingo was a twist front, and they had to pass that thing, and then, Hoffman got just enough of his guy to kind of, get the ball out. And so, along the way, there was some things, the running game. I didn't think particularly that Miles Sanders helped them running the ball initially with some of the cuts that he made. Vision wasn't much like what Miles Sanders I've seen from him before. The one time he did hit it the right way, well, they get a nice gain at him. That's because you get a nice block from Tyler Booker. So, guy is always going to play with power. He's going to have to learn the combo blocking stuff, and he's going to have to learn the twist game stuff too. And I mean, this is all positive things. I'm not trying to say that he was a disaster having to deal with pass and stunts, but a lot of teams in the NFL will move fronts. They will twist guys. They'll bring linebackers, and all those things are, as he gets those experiences, I think he'll be the better for it.
Vance is already in the super chat. He said, guys, will it just ruin our day? Wishing Dallas could make trades like the Eagles just did. See, here's my rule today. Let me tell you a rule today, Bryan. You can compare the Cowboys to the Eagles if you want, and you can talk about the front office and moves they do or don't make if you want to. Why? Because you're an adult with a Super Bowl ring. I can't stop you from doing it. I'm not tearing down my day worrying about Jerry Jones over the next 25 minutes. I'm going to tell you that. Okay?
Yeah, I think to me that it's teams around the league are all making calls right now. You just happen to be, Philadelphia found a trading partner, and were you interested in going to get Minchie if you're for the Cowboys? No, but let's not act like that. Alex Loomis and those guys aren't on the phone trying to do some things. I felt like going into this game, Jeffrey, and maybe you can just your live look of it tell me, I felt like this was an important game for the secondary, because if the secondary didn't show up well, this would be the mark where I would say, now go get somebody. And you still might need to go get somebody. Shoddy in the pregame show with Brad Shams said, hey, help is on the way. Trying to kind of figure out the timeline of where these cornerbacks are health-wise is tricky right now. It's the $1 million question that, okay, are you going to go and need to get somebody, which I personally think that they probably do. But this game, and I'll let you speak on this, I thought this game would tell me how quickly they need to go get somebody.
Yeah, and I think even bigger than just the one game. Like I've seen a lot of Andrew Booth, Troy Pride. I've seen a lot of those guys, and if
Who
you were
didn't
gonna
play bad. I mean,
no, and that's what
it's weird to say that, but what you usually think from Troy Pride, I mean, Troy Pride, I think at times when he gets to play has been tough and physical. I'm sorry I interrupted you for about the second time already. But yeah, Troy Pride, Booth. I mean, Booth was one of those. Booth was on the 1 foot in the parking lot kind of a situations and came
yeah.
out and played well in the run. Was physical. The pass defense stayed off the receiver's back, played offhand, not just the pick six. I mean, he had overall a pretty darn good game for you.
Which is why I had to zoom out and say, because I've seen them play a lot of snaps, I
Mm-hmm.
almost don't want to buy it because I think both of them seemed like they played okay football.
Yeah, they
Like
did.
neither one stood out as, oh God, outside of early in the game when they were just like, look, we're going to play 172 yards off and just let you throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and so, yeah, like if you just watched Cowboys Ravens, you might look at Andrew Booth and or Troy Pride and be like, okay, we got a little depth here, we got a little something here,
Yeah.
and I do think that both no pedigree whatsoever, but
Mm.
boy, Keemon Hall and Zion Childress are playing some scrappy football and
Yeah.
trying to make a case of, hey, one of us can start in the slot, and I think in a vacuum all by itself, that's encouraging. I'm enjoying watching both Keemon Hall and Zion Childress, and I think they both embody something that Eberflus was talking about. Where, and you might love this too, Brian, because when we've talked about their inability to stop the run last year, he's willing to go as far as, look, I'll tell you what's going to make us a good run stopping team is if our corners tackle.
Oh no, no
Guys
question.
who are
And
competing to play in the slot right now, those sons of biscuits will tackle.
yeah,
And I like that part. I can't convince myself that your corners are good enough with the guys you have on the field right now that the first month of the season you're going to be a good pass defense. But I could
yeah,
see them talking themselves into, we don't have to add anybody because our help is on the way.
yeah, no, and the first month of the season is going to be rough, and especially the first game against the Eagles is going to be rough with all your people out. That's just a fact, and it can you do enough offensively to, and we'll see. We'll see. We haven't seen. We've only seen Dak practice. We've seen the offensive line together. We've seen Pickens practice. We've seen Lamb practice. We've seen Ferguson practice. We haven't seen it all in a game. That's really going to be your hope right now. The defense got thrown out there for 70 some odd plays last week, last time out. And, and for the most part, I felt like that they held up. There were times you could go back and watch the all 22 and you could see, uh, you know, Jay Toya, and you could see even Mozzie and those guys holding up blocks. You could even see that they're holding up double teams, and then you get solid linebacker play. Jack Sanborn, solid linebacker play. Damone Clark, 1 foot in the parking lot there for Damone Clark because he went from practicing really well to playing not very well against the Rams to playing really well against the Ravens. Your linebacker play got better in that game because of stuff that was going along the defensive front, and it's not pretty. It's not. It's not where you surely can get better, but kind of this is what you are right now. It's not magically guys from the 92 Super Bowl team are going to come walking through the door and help you out in this day and age. You're
But
going to
the good
have to.
news is you
Yeah.
can watch that 92 team
Yeah.
on the Netflix documentary,
Yeah.
the Gambler,
Yeah.
Jerry and his people,
Yeah.
Cowboys team.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. See, I mean, that's, people are talking about, Mozzie Smith did, he absolutely got caught on some blocks, and Mozzie Smith and others are going to get caught on blocks. And,
Ozzie can't
it's,
play.
it's just,
Ozzie can't play.
it is what it is, Jeff, right now. And, and hopefully with Jay Toya, and what they have with him. I mean, I'm encouraged by him. I think he's the one that needs to be the one technique. And then, but when this defense is bad, and you could see it, Jeff, every time when there's a problem with the run, it's fits. The fits are what the problem. It's the physicality which somebody gets blocked. But when they fit early in that game, you could see line going one way. You could see downhill. You could see a guy hold the edge, hold the edge at end. Now you're seeing a linebacker fill. Now you're seeing a linebacker over the top. I mean, everybody moving to the ball that way. When they are bad on run defense, they get turned and they create gaps. And that's where it really, really is, because it's this for run defense. It is going to be completely about run fits. And if they fit, they're going to stop people from running the football. If they don't, then they're going to give up chunk plays. And we've seen that, happen here really the last couple of weeks.
I would add one thing in this man's humble opinion, when it comes to the run defense. If you can't get off the GD ball, you're screwed.
Oh, yeah.
And I think there's one D tackle that stands out that's still, and you going into year 3, just is regularly the last man off the ball. And if you are the last man off the ball, it is so hard. Like, for instance, the very first drive, you want to find some encouraging stuff, go rewatch the very first Ravens offensive drive.
Oh, no, that's how run defense is supposed to be played.
Yeah. Right, because what gives you a chance is they snap the ball, and their plan is the tight end is going to block down and seal Sam Williams. The offensive tackle is then going to be free to come get Damone Clark. And what happens is Sam Williams gets off the ball. Yeah. And the tight end's like, oh crap, I've missed him, and now Damone Clark's already gone. He's keyed and he's gone.
And I wrote it. It's like one of the first. I wrote all my notes down here. Yeah. It's like the first thing. Really good fits across the board. Sam Williams inside charge beats the tackle. Clark to the outside. Sanborn over the top.
Yeah.
Ali had nowhere to run. Nice effort by Mozzie to get in on the play. Tackle for loss. Well played. Yeah. That's how it's supposed to be played. And and they're capable of playing that way. And that's, if they're going to have success, it is going to have to be really good fits across the board. Sam Williams inside charge beats tackle. Clark to the outside. Sanborn over the top, and nowhere to run. That's where it's going to have to be. It's it's not going to be some of the other ones where that they I have here Mozzie and Williams hole block. Sanborn is able to meet Ali in the hole. That's the kind of thing. Williams goes too far to the inside, and it puts, okay, here you go. Here's one where it didn't work. Williams goes too far to the inside, and it puts pressure on Clark to have to fill 2 gaps to the edge. If Williams stays square, there's a chance for no gain, but space is too much for Clark to have to cover. That's Dallas Cowboys run defense in a nutshell.
They're going to be counting on chaos. They're counting on somebody to win early, which creates chaos and doesn't let linemen get up on your linebackers so that they're free to make a play.
It's movement, and it's technique, and it's not playing with the wrong shoulder. It's playing with your hands, and it's not guessing. If you're Jack Sanborn, you can't take on a block with the shoulder you're supposed to keep free. You can't do that. The ball's going to go right there. Jay Toya, when you get up the field, you gotta be able to kind of not get turned a little bit, because that's where the ball is going to go. The margins for this defense, playing run defense, is really, really razor thin. Yeah. It's really razor thin, because they have to play it in a way where, like you said, chaos and being disruptive, but very capable of doing it. We saw it. We saw it on the initial drive with guys who are going to be playing during the season.
Yeah. Williams in the super chat. Smith, Beebe, and Booker have a chance to be a great interior line, a wall for Dak to throw deep. That's the biggest thing that you have to have.
How about just Dak throw? Not so much deep. Just
get ready to sling this thing.
Yeah,
get ready to sling this thing. Yeah. Ron, guys, is this team better if Mozzie is off the team? I don't want to. He's another one, much like Jerry. My official Mozzie stance is we're in year 3. I think Mozzie can't play. He can't play NFL football.
We'll see if they release him. We will see if.
Which I don't even know if that makes sense when you've got 2 years of a first round pick fully guaranteed. You're eating every dime of it. I don't know if it makes sense, but hopefully they find other guys that can play the snaps, because I think year 3, you can't get off the ball. You can't be a disruptive player. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
I think you need somebody else on the field. Put Perry on Winfrey on the field is when you're
Winfrey. Yeah. Winfrey. And I think I could say there's, JT is going to have to be involved, as the big body guy. And then everybody else is probably going to be, with Winfrey. We've seen him play at Oklahoma. We've seen him play zero technique nose. We've seen him play head up. He's 290 some odd pounds. He's quick up the field. That's what they're going to do. They're going to try and be disruptive. They're going to try and fit gaps. They're going to try and fit with their linebackers. Safety's going to come down and play. And if they're good at it, like they were the first series, You're going to see run defense. But the thing that like when Flus was here last time, they were really good at run defense. Why were they good in run defense? Because offense was scoring 35 points a game. That's and then people don't want to run. You can't run. So this is really going to be until they start to get bodies back. This is going to be on Dak, and it's going to be on CeeDee Lamb, and it's going to be on Pickens, it's going to be on Ferguson and Booker and BB and whoever plays left tackle. That's who it's going to be on, initially until they start to get guys back.
Dro knows in the super chat. I just saw Lampkin pushing Mozzie Smith down I-10 headed towards Lake Charles. Okay, Dro knows. We don't have to go there. We didn't have to. You didn't have to do that. Ed's in the super chat. Just an observation, but Flus oddly seems to be playing our pass rush edge defenders on the left and run defenders on the strong side.
It is strange. That's a really good notice by him because it's funny. You got Turner that's playing more of a right end, and then Ezeraku's playing more left end. Is what I know. That's a good eye by that guy or gal who is putting that one in.
They must be switching it up then, because also on the
maybe they're not showing you. Maybe they're not showing you what they're going to do with the right or the left end.
First drive they had where you would picture it on the first drive, because the first guy who won on a pass rush when they had after they had the tackle for loss was Marshawn Nealon from left end.
Nealon's getting better, by the way.
Yeah, and then it was James Houston from right end on the very next play that won on the pass rush.
Right.
And that goes into, if you're looking for positives out of this game, we have to do math and we have to figure out how it fits. But if you want to, there's another dude that's making a case for, hey, when it's third down, I got something for you. Like James Houston had some really nice wins as a pass rusher over the course of that game.
This is going to be if Micah Parsons wants to play now. But you've got to figure out if he doesn't play, you've got to figure out how to make up. You got to put together 3 guys and try and make up the number of sacks that he's likely going to have. If he doesn't play, well, that's on him. The more this kind of goes on, the more I kind of feel like they're going to play the tag game with him. So he's going to have to determine if he wants to forego, $1.8 million, potentially or less. I don't know the exact. Now I think
he would just be gambling. He would be gambling that they will fold at some point in the first couple of weeks of him sitting out. That's your gamble. And if they don't, then you show up and you go, whoops, I lost some money. All right, let's play football.
Yeah.
The Joe Milton thing, I don't believe if Dak. So now these days I refuse to speculate on any sort of injury. So what I say is, if Dak had a power outage at the house that happened after he had fallen asleep, and so his phone charger didn't work, nor did any electronic, and his alarm didn't go off, he missed the bus, he didn't make it to the game, and some other quarterback had to play. My current stance is I think you're just dead. I think you're dead.
Well, most NFL teams are.
Sure.
Most of them are.
Okay, but Cooper Rush.
Cooper
Rush is 8 times better than any Cowboys backup.
Well, sure, but and we all hated Cooper Rush too.
For sure. And that's how bad I think the Cowboys have.
We got tired of Cooper Rush, and the Cowboys evidently got tired of Cooper Rush. And so, but most teams will tell you the great Tom Moore, old 86-year-old Tom Moore, standing on the sidelines going, we don't work on effed.
That's right.
You lose your quarterback, we're effed. And so, I will say this, though, in Milton's defense, Cropper, you got to catch that ball.
Yes, he needed to be.
You don't need to be slowing up and looking to see where Malachi Starks is standing.
Starks is going to hit him hard now. He's, you got alligator arms.
But no, wait till you watch the tape. You tell me. No,
I saw it. No, that was a move where he was afraid he was getting hit and he alligator armed it.
Yeah, and you've got to, now I'm not saying that Milton was perfect by any means. That was far from it. But there are some throws like that throw that he made, the Mingo, down the sidelines.
Yeah.
There are very few quarterbacks in the league, and that's kind of what you're hoping for. That's what you're hoping for. But you can't miss the out route on a pivot to. You can't miss Flanoy. Flanoy is finding ways to get open, and they're finding ways not to get him the ball. Milton's finding ways not to get him the ball. And Flanoy, by the way, let me tell you what, Flanoy playing on special teams is better than what Tolbert's been and some of these other guys. Brooks, these other guys. Tolbert on special teams is probably making them think, okay, where is he in the 5 or 6 that you're that you're talking about. But yeah, Cropper. Okay, now I understand. This is why you don't make the team, because you've got to go make plays, and that's a play you got to make.
No, I
And
think Cropper.
it doesn't help your quarterback at all.
No, Cropper's my guy. And for 2 years, he's been awesome in training camp, but you get to the game and it doesn't necessarily translate. And I
No,
feel
hell
like
no.
for Flournoy, it does translate and he does do a good job in practice. And then he goes to the games and that moment doesn't look big to him at all. Like he doesn't look like he's worried about it, intimidated by it. He's a big guy. He looks smooth. He has strong hands. I like Flournoy a lot now. And I just wonder, is there a way, and you mentioned special teams, but will they keep 6? Because if they're not going to keep 6, I don't know how my guy gets on the football team.
If they don't keep 6, no, I mean, you have to determine is, do you want to do something with Tolbert? Is there
trade him for a D tackle
of the valuable wide receivers you have? If you want to move on from one, he's the one that you could probably move on from and maybe get something back in return. People are asking what the timeline is for Mingo's knee. I was just told several weeks. They were working on on that yesterday.
Congrats, Flournoy, you just made the team.
Yeah, Mingo. I was just told he's likely out several weeks. I'm sorry I can't be more, but that's all I got. So.
Did we whiff on not signing Isaiah Bond from 91 TSI? Well, Cleveland was the one that was coming in there. Cleveland is monitoring, but not monitoring, but yes, monitoring all legal proceedings. And as soon as they hear no charges dismissed, they're signing the guy. Okay. That's a Cleveland.
I actually felt like that he was the guy that was supposed to be so great at Texas. And then all of a sudden Golden kind of took over that whole thing. There's a lot to unpack there, but hey, happy for the kid that the charges were dropped against him that way.
Yeah, I'm happy that he maybe didn't do what he was accused of doing. That would be good for the world if he did.
He's done a lot of things this day though too. But
yeah, well,
we all have.
I've never done anything wrong in my life. I have lived a pristine, perfect life. Okay, let me think here. Linebacker group, we talked about it a little bit. I don't think there's a star in that group, but now we're up to like 5 guys that if you told me they had to play a bunch of snaps, I'd be like, that's fine. I think there's been enough snaps where I'm like, Damone Clark, he needs to play a bunch of snaps, no problem. Leah Fow, no problem. Shamar James is now the one that intrigues me because
that kid is, for someone that doesn't have a lot of instincts and probably not really great covering, he's kind of picking up both.
Yeah. I like he's one of the dudes that because he can get places that I feel like a lot of other people can't get to. He's got that athleticism. So like you're now linebacker wise, I don't know how that one plays out. Like, is Buddy Johnson out of here?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's guys that have kind of Buddy Johnson actually against the Rams special teams wise was pretty good. That's kind of what you have to kind of look at there. But I was on my flip card, I just started highlighting guys that I was just watching, and I'm like, I had Damone Clark, I had Shamar James, I had Jack Sanborn, Troy
a lot
Pride.
of linebacker action.
I mean, I had a lot of linebacker action on my flip card that I was highlighting that guys were showing up. That they like I say, James, to me, when you watch Florida tape, was really good at running the football. We've seen that. He's really good at blitzing. He's a really good at attacking the pocket, and they're asking asking to play more coverage and stuff, which I didn't really think was his strength. And I didn't think the instincts were great. But I'll tell you what, though, he shown up here the last couple of games and really started getting a feel for this defense and how it needs to be played.
Well, I think if we're going to talk, like when you're going to talk about guys who have the potential, like Joe Milton, where it's like, you see the occasional play and you go, whoa, well, look, this is really, really good. So like with Shamar James, when it's like, okay, but instinctually or coverage wise, and then you look at it, you say, right, but the physical ability he has, a change of direction and burst and agility and all that, he should be able or could be able to turn really good as a coverage guy. If we can, if we've got it mentally, physically, he can put himself in spots that Sanborn, Damone just can't because of the ability to stop and go and stop and go.
Jeff, do me a favor. Answer the super chat that Alex Ventura asked.
Alex said, wouldn't it make sense to try to get Bland paid early so he is more open to playing the slot? Diggs, Elam, Revel can't do it. He has to eventually. And
okay, this is where Shoddy told us. This is where Shoddy told us that they see Childers as an inside player only.
Yeah, and then so in theory,
I think it's him. I think it's him and Hall are battling right now until they kind of figure that out. And I don't think they want to play Bland inside. I think that it's going to be either Hall or Childers. And the one thing Childers has shown is if you play him in the slot and it's near the line of scrimmage and it's a tight formation, reduced formation, here he comes. If he sees it, he is going to go tackle that. He's going to go tackle that ball. And so I don't think it's anymore after what Shoddy said to what Shoddy said to Brad Sham in the pregame the other day, that they view Childers as an inside player. Because I was thinking, okay, well then they have to figure somebody on the outside. Now maybe they will. Maybe they will figure out something, along the way. But right now, I think it's either Hall or Childers is going to be that slot corner. They're going to leave Bland at the outside.
Yeah, and then when they start, if they start to get guys back, whether it's Revel or Diggs, that becomes interesting.
Yep.
In terms of what are you doing? Because if Trayvon Diggs is legit, healthy, ready to go, he goes back in.
Yeah.
And then I suppose Kyer Elam just becomes a depth guy, or you find out if he can play the slot or whatever. But I am a big supporter of leave Bland outside unless it just turns out that everyone that you put in the slot is literally useless. And I think Shoddy understands that, because I'm trying to remember. I think it was a Shoddy quote at some point where he was talking about the island positions. The island positions are very valuable. The ones where you're alone out there.
Yeah.
And it is more true on the outside than it is in the slot. You have less friends around you. You have more space. It's you and that guy a lot of times. And I don't want to downgrade out there to try to upgrade at a spot where you get a little bit more help from your teammates. Right. So I want Bland outside. And if you get Diggs and Revel back and you think they're better than Kyer Elam, put them in. And Kyer Elam can be a backup. And if you're getting just torched in the slot, we'll figure it out. We'll find a guy that plays the slot.
I think initially it is going to be either Hall or Childers. I think.
And why not? I mean, I think what's the point of training camp and preseason games if you have guys who surprise you in a positive way, and there's no such thing as being able to get to the field by doing that? I mean, what's the point?
If you were in a situation and it did turn into you had to move Bland inside, is the situation with Booth just hold your breath?
Elam and Booth would terrify me as my two outside corners, and I think that our pass defense would be really, really, really bad. I would be scramble mode. I would be like, who's got their phone the closest to them, and which team are we going to call? Where is Stephon Gilmore? I don't care if he runs a 4.8 right now. I don't care how old he is. Like, let's find somebody. It would scare me. Their pass defense the first month, I think, is going to be interesting. And I think their run defense might be interesting too, Brian.
Well, it might, like I said, this might be I don't think there's as talented offensively as what Cincinnati is, just because of the quarterback and the wide receiver. I think the wide receivers have, it's pretty, I think the quarterback plays, but that's why Cincinnati wins games. They just try to completely outscore you. And I just feel like that maybe Dallas is going to have to do that until they figure out they get guys back on defense. But this team has a chance to be not very good. It really, really does.
Oh yeah, they do.
It really. I mean, if there's nothing that, but they're going to need to get Mike in there. They're going to need to get some of these corners back. If that happens, I hope it's not too late. But they have a chance to be. If this thing doesn't work out offensively, they have a chance to be not very good.
If they're a 24 point per game offense, this team's going to lose 12 games. I think this team is most likely going to have to average like 28 is the lowest. I think more like 30.
I think you're up to that. I mean, until until they figure it out, until like I say, I just hope it's not too late. I hope it's not one of those, oh, everybody's coming back and you're 2-6.
Yeah.
I don't, that just, man, that might be too big of a hole to dig out of.
Maybe do some work up there, Mr. Front Office, General Manager man. Maybe get this team ready for the first month or two of the season. How about that? But I'm not worried about him today. Hot dog or bun, we're not worried about it as long as we have food. You know what I'm saying?
You got
Thank
that
you,
right.
Bryan.
Thank you, sir.
Crown Global Media on YouTube. You can find Bryan there. Make sure you're listening to him on 105.3 The Fan. Make sure you're finding us in the DLLS Cowboys podcast, which is at 3 o'clock Central today instead of 11 a.m. Why? I'm not sure, honestly. But normally we're on at 11 a.m. And everybody remember,